In this video, I'm going to discuss the best practices for seasoned professionals and maybe like late career and you're targeting a senior level role. I did forget to mention in my last video, but if you don't have like your basic resume down, I definitely recommend checking out my last video. I'll link it in the description. Now, I did forget to mention that if you are not clear on how to design a resume and maybe you have the meat of your resume, but you just need to make it more modernized and look really good, distinctive resume templates, they have amazing templates. And the template that I have here is a template that I've used. However, I have altered it a bit. I've used it as like inspiration, but they sell templates for you to use, for resume writers to use, for job seekers to use. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And I will include my affiliate link in the description as well, because that is going to take your resume to a whole other level. Okay. Now, getting into this. So let's just say that you are a seasoned professional. You've been in your career for 25 plus years, 20 years, and you have a desire to go for senior level roles and eventually go into C-suite roles. So the way that you structure your resume is going to be different from someone that is pursuing an entry level resume, or they're pursuing just maybe a specialist role. It really depends. But for you, because you're going higher up, you have to make sure that you brand your resume. And so the key is before you even start writing out your resume, think of what you want to be known for. Think of maybe God has revealed to you this is the problem that you solve. You're looking at your past experiences and your past achievements, current experiences, and you are really assessing, like you're analyzing that information, like, okay, what am I known for? What have people come to me for? Why am I the go-to person? What initiatives have I spearheaded? What are some of the things that I've done that has really like propelled the organization forward? And so you're writing down those things and you're making sure, whenever possible, as I mentioned in the other video, that you can put measurable information, measurable data down to back up the claims. So the way that you approach this is when you're reading the job description, you're looking for specific pain points. You're looking for language that will give you insight into what that employer is looking for. And so I've heard like a lot of people talk about they'll research recent news. And of course, you always want to look at the company's mission on their website and different programs that they have going on, initiatives. So you can get insight and you can speak to that language in your resume. And so when you're looking at the programs that they've spearheaded or their mission, what stands out to you? What resonates with you? The core values. What is it that resonates with you, but you know you can bring in to elevate that department or elevate that organization? And so that's what you want to keep in mind. For this resume that is before you, this was a client that came to me. He had his resume done, but it was just a general resume. And so his goal ultimately was he wanted to eventually go into a C-suite position. And he had done so much in like with defense contracts, and he had been a cybersecurity consultant. And there was so much that he had done. My goal when I spoke with him was to figure out, okay, what problems did you solve? Why is this important? Because even though I didn't know too much about what he did, I still wanted to know, okay, you're saying this in your resume. Why is this important? Why does this even matter to the employer? So for this one, I thought it was important because after speaking with him and understanding how he transformed departments, how he transformed the processes that of the organization's cybersecurity. And forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, but how he transformed that organization's security measures, it got me thinking. And I'm like, you know what? He's a visionary. Like he's able to just go in and troubleshoot and see where there are vulnerabilities and go in there and like really just transform things. And so for his branding statement, I put visionary technology leader with 29 years of experience in innovation, managing diverse teams, and driving growth through big picture leadership. So that's a big statement, right? So the goal was that in that big statement, I have to speak to that throughout the resume, because if that's what you're claiming, then you have to back up those claims and show how you've been innovative, how you've managed diverse teams, and in what ways did you drive growth through that big picture leadership. So I'm not going to go through the core competencies sections or the summary because I covered that in my other video. What I really want to highlight is, as you see here, I actually put the certifications towards the top this time because I feel like these were super critical um, certifications. And so I put those at the top. Now, what I want to highlight to you is this looks different from the other resume. The other resume is more simple, right? But because, as I mentioned, he's looking for a leadership position, his is going to explain a little bit more. And I didn't want it to be super busy, but at the same time, he has so much experience. So I had to think of a way, okay, how can I make this in a way where it's like not super crowded, but it still can bring the reader's attention to specific areas, because ultimately we are navigating this process, right? Even though the recruiter and the hiring manager, they're reviewing and they make the decision if you're going to get the call back, it's still like in customer service, it said we say you take control of the call. And so you're taking control of the process when it comes to your resume and how you want that resume to be viewed. What do you want to highlight that will bring the reader's attention to that section and make you stand out? So for this, I did briefly explain like what his role was, like the scope of the role. Then in this section, it was impact. So what impact did he really make, right? Because then it puts the reader in the mindset, wow, if he did that there, then he can probably do that here, especially if it's a pain point and they're struggling in that area. So I put save 300K plus by reorganizing existing staff for local cybersecurity risk assessments, attain first information systems accreditation in 10 years. That's big and huge for him to highlight that when if a company was struggling to get accreditation and now they're able to get that accreditation and it's been 10 years, that's a big one. And so I wanted to bring that out in this resume. Next, it was problem solved. I thought it was important to show the problem he solved instead of just highlighting a general job description. I wanted to say, okay, no, like this is the problem that they have, and then this is how he solved it. And so I feel like that positioned him well. And I just did the same thing throughout the rest of the resume because I felt like it positioned him well. Now, when it came to early experience, this is something I did not discuss in the other one, but let's just say you have over 15 years of experience. But it is relevant experience that you want to definitely highlight because it adds to your knowledge and your area of expertise. The way that you do that is you'll have a section that says early experience. In that section, you're just putting the job title and the company, and that is it. You don't put the date because they don't need to know that it was over however many years unless you're doing like a curriculum vitae. That's different. And so you can do that for however many jobs you have. You just want to make sure that you're staying within that 2-page maximum. But as I mentioned in the other video, if you feel like you want to go to 3 pages and it's working for you, then you do that. If it's not working, then you don't do it and you go back to 2 pages. But I've always used 2 pages because I feel like with a reader's attention span, 2 pages is good. And then I believe that's it, just the education section you have here. And that's pretty much it. But I wanted to show you when it comes to like a seasoned professional, this is the style that you want to go for. And as I mentioned, you definitely want to check out distinctive resume templates just to get the design. You're putting in the content, but the design and the flow that you want it to be, so that you're highlighting the specific things and the specific experience, areas of expertise that you have. Now, as you notice with this one, it's more of a language instead of actual percentages and numbers. There were certain things that he couldn't divulge because of the type of organization he worked for. So it was just certain percentages he could not use. So if that's the case, then you just want to make sure that the language is achievement based, right? And so you may not have those quantifiable measurements, but still make sure that it's the language is achievement focused. And then that's pretty much it, y'all. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if there's a resume that you want me to cover that I have not covered, let me know. The next one will be focused on probably recent graduates. Okay. All right. God bless.